So I have a bucket of cubes, and there's 5 cubes in it, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to pick a cube, keep it out, and then pick another cube. Yesterday we learned how to find all the possible outcomes, and that's by making a counting tree. So if you notice, on our counting tree, for the first pick, you could pick either cubes 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, so it has 5 branches. And then once we pick the cube, we keep it out. So let's say we pick cube 1. On our second pick, we only have 4 cubes to choose from. Cube 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why in our counting tree, from 1, the branches only include cubes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Similarly, if we had picked cube 2, we only have cubes 1, 3, 4, and 5 to choose from. And so on until it's all filled out. And there's the list of all the possible outcomes that could happen from the scenario. Today, though, our focus wasn't so much on what are the outcomes, but more on how many outcomes will there be. Now, if you wanted to know that, you could make a counting tree and just count up all the outcomes, but there's actually a faster way, and we learned a quick trick for that today. So to do that, the first thing you need to do is think about what actions are taking place. In this scenario, there's 2 picks. You've got a first pick, and you've got a second pick. So now you have to think about how many different options are there in each pick. For example, in that first pick, how many different possible outcomes could happen? Well, there's 5 cubes, so we know there's 5 different outcomes that are possible. For the second pick, how many different outcomes are possible? Well, after we made our first pick, for example, if we had picked cube 1, there's only 4 different possible outcomes that could happen. So we know there's 4. So what we learned today was, if we want to know how many total outcomes are possible in this whole scenario, multiply these 2 numbers together, and that tells us how many total outcomes are possible. That's called the counting principle.